on the north side where I purchased my home, where I raised my family. And I'm really glad for my village who was there when my mother was absent to help me get through school, particularly high school, and even when I became a young parent in my senior year. And so struggling as a young woman, having a baby at the age of 17, trying to deal with housing, transportation, after getting my diploma, going on to KVCC and trying to figure out how do I access childcare, and really trying to navigate the systems that should be in place to help support young people that are living in poverty so that we can be sustainable. I learned a lot through that process. And through that process, I became an advocate for myself and really for my children. And still, I never thought about politics or how that impacted my access to resources or services. I've never really put those things together. So to fast forward, what really happened for me is my nephew. He was a senior at Kalamazoo Central High School, straight A student on the swim team, just an all-out, very respectable, very good kid. He was racially profiled in the city of Kalamazoo. Pulled over by the police, just arrested. They treated him so bad, Brandy. And so as a result of that, my sister fought. She complained, she fought. Our family rallied with her to address the injustice that he had experienced with the public safety department. As a result, she filed not just a complaint, but a lawsuit against the city. And the lawsuit wasn't just about money, it was about policy. How do we make sure that a young Black man or woman never have to face this type of treatment by our local law enforcement? And so we won on both fronts. And it was from that experience that we learned that we had to have an advocate, somebody at the table, in the room, making the decisions that's going to help have a better quality of life for all of us. So that's how I got involved really in local politics and running. Because it happened right in my own backyard to my own family member. And God called us when things break our heart. The book of Nehemiah teaches us that he's called us to do something about it. So definitely after growing up in Christian education, having that word hidden in my heart to finally realize, wow, you do have a calling on your life. There is expectation for you. Go forward and let your light shine.
Wow. So when did that happen? Like what part of your life? Like was that like 10 years ago or?
It was 2007.
Okay, wow.
Right here in Kalamazoo. And it was a long, horrific process. It was our family, challenging the city of Kalamazoo, the public safety department, and they had all of these resources, all of these officers and lawyers and all this stuff, and it was just us.
Wow.
And you know what? I should be more clear and say not that it was just us, it was just my nephew, this 17-year-old young man, fighting to preserve not just his innocence, his character, but to be able to move forward, particularly in his senior year, one of the most critical years of his life. And I tell you, it was the most horrific process that we went through, that he went through, because it was so unfair. We didn't have an advocate. We didn't have the long list of lawyers, but we had a good message. The truth prevailed. My nephew graduated from Kalamazoo Central, and he went on to Morehouse.
Wow.
And so he's a promised kid. And so, the blessing in all of it, I think, inspires us that there is work to do. We are the ones here, continuing that legacy of our ancestors, of our forefathers, and we got a responsibility to not just sit on their shoulders, but do real work.
Wow. That's a tremendous story. I'm just like, and it's amazing to find that courage. It just takes so much courage to, like you say, go up against, that much power. So
absolutely.
I'm wearing a headband, but I tip my hat. Most definitely.
There's a quote that I love that says, you never know how strong you are until you have no other options but to be strong. And a lot of us, women, raising our families, owning and running our businesses, trying to be leaders in the community, being a voice for other women. A lot of times we know we have the strength, but we find it oftentimes when we have no other choice but to be strong. Wow. And then, as sisters, we got that black girl magic.
Yeah. And we don't know how to put down the torch until we're gone. We just keep carrying that torch. Like, the torch is, I'm holding on to this thing, okay? We can't let it go. Most definitely. So from that experience, what period of time did it take for you to actually make the decision to become, a politician? I know you're a commissioner, but did you dabble in anything else prior to?
Absolutely. So I was doing work on the state and the regional level around issues, campaign finance reform, healthcare, looking at environmental issues, because that was my job, right? And learning how important being an advocate on issues is to the overall political process. But still, I never thought about running for office. It wasn't until my nephew went through this situation, and we were hitting brick walls. No one would help us. We didn't have folks that were understanding and listening to us, because there was no one at City Hall that identified with us, our struggle, and no one that really cared, right? And so as my mother actually held a Sunday brunch, about 70 women came and participated, and it was two issues. One, here you got this racial profiling, and two, we had an issue with young people and violence, and how it was impacting our overall community. So at this Sunday brunch, you had, all these sisters who came together in the interest of saving our children, right? And finally, the elder in the room said, we need to send somebody to City Hall. We need to make sure that somebody on the other side of the table looks like us, understands us, and can support, what we're trying to say and what we're trying to do. Now, I was the note taker. I got my head down. I'm just taking notes and this and that. And so they agreed. Yeah. We need to find somebody. We need to send somebody. And they were discussing. And finally, the elder, Mrs. Bessie Lax, she looked over and she said, we send it to you. And I was like, you can't tell your elder no, right? But I had never really thought about it, right? And so they agreed. They said, okay, we're going to get one person. We're going to support that person. And we're sitting in the hall. I launched my campaign that year. I won the race for city commissioner. I became a city commissioner in 2007 with the support of women. Was my block of supporters. The women, the elder, the younger women came together with a strategy and said, we want representation. And so I served 4 terms as a city commissioner, and now I'm in my 3rd term as a county commissioner. So it was an amazing experience. And when you say recognizing your calling, understanding, the wherewithal, the power within, we can change our situation and our circumstances. We can change our community. We just got to be a role model, or continue to be a role model for particularly women, Black women, to step up, support them, and help them stay in decision-making places so we can grow our businesses and our families and spread love to this community.
Wow. So,
and every time I see Miss Bessie, I be like, you see what you got me into?
Oh, that's awesome. She's still around. You're like her star.
She's still around. And many of those women have been activists themselves, working on HIV and AIDS, working on substance abuse disorder issues, working on issues particularly to women and families, going to Lansing, being advocates. So they already kind of had a plan. They kind of knew what you needed to do. But the beautiful thing is they organized. They came together, they executed that strategy. And it's been 11 years. Here I am. I'm still here.
Wow, that is amazing. Wow. So with that
Actually, it's been 13 years.
Wow. So with that wealth of knowledge that you have, and we've got this event coming up called the State of the Black Union, right? And so Tavis Smiley did it for 10 years, and I used to love watching it and seeing people communicate and share what you are doing now. So what do you think are the best topics for us to explore during this panel discussion?
Well, I definitely think when we're talking about the state of Black America, right, or the state of Black people, we have to talk about the opportunities that we have, which are great opportunities in terms of economics, entrepreneurship. Of course, you see I'm rocking my t-shirt, or my sweatshirt rather, because that's where we are able to create wealth, generational wealth, where we can have jobs, employ our community, our family, and make sure that they can inherit something down the line that they can sustain to be able to take care of themselves and provide for their families. And you want to be able to build a legacy for the Black community, that we own the stores, the distribution centers, we're providing the services, we're making the goods, the foods, and all of that, which we've done for centuries, throughout our legacy, providing and supporting this great nation. And so wanted to talk about our opportunities economically. Yes, we want access to careers, long-term careers that we can retire from and have wealth from. But more importantly, I think many people want to be entrepreneurs. They want to own their own business and create their legacies to hand down. I think we also should talk about environmental issues and what that means to our community. Whether it's climate change or even talking about our water contamination in our communities. We drink water every day. We bathe in water every day. You know, we are using that for our food supply every day. So we need to make sure, regardless if we live in the inner city, the urban core, or even in the outer rural areas, that we're talking about environmental justice, because that plays a part in our health, our overall ability to have better health outcomes. It plays a part in industry and where those industries are going, because a lot of times they look at contaminated land that's a lot of times in our communities, and they put these factories and different industries, which comes with a lot of waste and environmental things that we are mostly impacted by. I think we have to talk about housing and talk about it in a frame from sustainability. We want everybody to have the American dream of home ownership, and to not only own your home, but to keep your home to pass down through generations. We also want to talk about the people who are not able to own homes, but are renting and even on land contracts. How do you have decent and affordable, safe housing to be able to raise your family in, free of mold, free of insects, free of contaminants that are harmful, particularly to Black folks and even to poor people in our community? When we talk about lead, asbestos, when we talk about all of these material things that are detrimental to our health. And I'm glad that you're doing this about the state of the Black community, because Brandy, you know, as strong, as resilient as we are, a lot of times we have the greatest negative impact when it comes to a lot of these issues. I also believe we should talk about financial literacy, what we should do as a community, opportunities that we have to be a part of Wall Street, to be a part of savings programs, to help individuals better work with their finances so that they can build that generational wealth, and provide opportunities for financial literacy classes and workshops so we can buy those homes and things that gets us to equity in our homes and everything. I also think we have to talk about health access, health care, and what does that mean to the Black community? Because we also know that when it comes to diabetes and breast cancer and heart disease, when it comes to, you know, different forms of cancer, asthma, obesity, it's because of health access, having insurance to be able to go see a doctor, and health care to be able to have multiculturally doctors that see you, understand you, trust your voice when you say you are in pain, when you say that there's something going on with your body, and being able to come up with a treatment plan specific to you, your culture, and your background, and not to say, oh, you know, you okay. And so we need health care and health access. And when I say health, it's in a broad term. Mental health, we're talking about substance abuse, we're talking about having access to counseling and therapy, as well as physical medical health. And then I think, lastly, I think we have to just talk about leadership in the Black community. We need more African Americans who are true to advancing the Black community to step up in leadership positions, whether if it's running for a local, state, or national office, whether if it's just serving on local neighborhood boards. A lot of these nonprofit organizations are very influential organizations. Mm-hmm. We need to talk about more Black people serving on local city and county boards, because that's where the work is done. Those are where the decisions are being made. And then these boards come to the commissioners and say, this is our recommendation, will you support it? So we need more people that look like us, that are part of these conversations and making those decisions. And then, just talk about how our young people, our millennials, Generation X, the opportunities for them to come up in a way where they have this, we have this intergenerational reach, where we're saying, listen, let us share with you our experience and what we learned and how we've navigated this process. And although you may come at a different way, a different approach, which is fine, at least you won't repeat the same mistakes or fall in the same holes that we did going through this process before. So I think that gives you an overall of how we can touch in different ways and empower people to become more active, more vocal, when they're better educated on issues about us, but more importantly, strategies of how we overcome.
Now, what do you say to the person that's discouraged? Like, I love everything that you're saying, and you got me like totally encouraged. I'm like, yes, I love like where you're coming from with this. I like how you're speaking of it, because a lot of people get overwhelmed. They're like, we don't want to talk about Black problems. It's so depressing. All you do is come together and talk about issue after issue after issue. Nothing gets resolved. There are no solutions. So what do you say to that person that's discouraged? Like, I don't really want to go there and hear more negative stuff about our community. How do you motivate people to come out? Because politically, I see people are discouraged and exhausted, and it's like, what are your tools that you have, over the time that you've got a lot of experience, a wealth of experience? What do you use to like motivate people?
Well, there's another affirmation that I love. Empowered women empower women. So women like you and I, who are there, we're walking in this space, right? That we had to create space for ourselves. That I'm here not because of I had all of this resources or money or this and that. I'm here because I was hurt. My family was in need. I experienced these things that were traumatic to me. And I'm taking that and the hope that I have within me to do something about it. I'm not sitting back and waiting for, someone else to come and save me or advocating for me. I am the answer to a lot of me and your problems. And that's what I want to share with people. One of the reasons why hopelessness has set in is because we have not given enough of ourselves, of our intellect, our time, sometimes our resources, but just our ability to help when somebody else steps up in the space to say, you know what, sis, you know what, bro, I got you. I'm going to stand here and I'm going to hold you up. So a lot of times it's not doing all of this extra stuff. It's affirming and reaffirming and empowering people to do that so we don't lose hope. I think the other thing is sharing the story. Mm-hmm. We all have come from somewhere. We've all done and experienced some things, right? So it's on us, basically, to share that through my resilience, through my growing up in a household where substance abuse tore us apart, through living with family members where I was raped and molested, through not having to have access to a job and transportation, through trying to figure out as a teenager how to raise a child myself, I understand now that there's an opportunity for me to not just share my story, but to also show you that you can do it too. And that's where we need to make those connections that it can be done. Mm-hmm. We are doing it, but we need you to be a part of the process as well. I don't need to hear any more sad, bad stories because I've lived most of them, right? But there's opportunities, and if we strategize, Brandy, we can make sure that everybody gets in the room in whatever capacity, and that if we work together, we can get something done. I want to give you a quick example of that, a very recent one. You understand, in the city of Kalamazoo, we have our first African-American woman vice mayor. And the beautiful thing about it is not just that she's black, but she's a beautiful black woman,
Yeah,
Patrice Griffin, but she comes from the urban core neighborhood. She comes from us. And we got together and we strategized and we said, not only do we want to elect her, we want her to be at the top. We want her to be in a leadership position. And so through our strategy, number one, of being registered vote, to coming out in record numbers and voting, being strategic about that vote, she is now our vice mayor representing us on major issues. And that's what we need to do. We need to come together and put people in power decisions. We need to come together and put people in a place where they can give input, where they can decide on policies, where they can truly represent our will so that can be done. And so knowing that we just did it a couple of months ago for her, we need to be looking at other future elections. We need to be looking at other strategies and being a part of that. So there's no time for hopelessness. If you are feeling down and you don't know what to do, join us at this conference on February the 29th in Three Rivers. Be a part of not just the conversation, but be a part of the solution. We can give you some simple action things. We have people that say, I don't want to be out in the front. That's okay. We got room for you somewhere over here doing technology, helping with data, helping with social media, helping with, training the trainers. We're doing mailings, we're doing phone calling. We need somebody to help watch the babies while the mamas is out on the front line. We need somebody that can help prepare some sandwiches while we out marching and fighting and talking and working and going to meetings day in and day out. They could use a little bit of help. There's room in the struggle for everybody.
Right, most definitely. And I was just so happy to see that whole process happen in Kalamazoo, right? Because I'm in Three Rivers, and most people think I live in Kalamazoo because I do a lot of work in Kalamazoo. But just seeing that whole process, I'm like, oh my God, so this really happened. I'm so proud of Kalamazoo. I was born in Kalamazoo, but raised in Ann Arbor and found my way back here. But just seeing everything, I'm like, God brought me back here for a reason, because just witnessing all of this is amazing. Most definitely. And you are such a busy lady. You say what?
I put on my politician hat and tell you, spend all your money in our tax base.
Believe me, I do.
That I'm very, very intentional about. I didn't just wear this T-shirt because I got it from you, but because I believe in entrepreneurship of African Americans, and I purpose myself to buy everything that I can from local Black or just Black-owned businesses in particular. Whether it's from where I get my hair done, to where I buy my eyeglasses from, to where I get my clothes from, I shop Black-owned. And most of the time, I shop local. And that's how we help to sustain Black businesses. And so it's not just a whim or an afterthought. It's intentional. Right. And when we continue to teach our children that, our children's children, and when we demonstrate that everywhere, I'll go somewhere, I'll go to work at downtown at the county, I'm in the community at different events, and I'm looking good, and I'm sashaying in my clothes, and the first thing people say, oh, I like that. Oh, there's a Black business right over here that's where I got that from. There's a Black business downtown. There's a sister who has an online such and such, and that's what we have to do to promote, support, to sustain these Black businesses, whether they're small or large, so that we can be able to tell these stories of how African Americans are really, advancing in the overall, country.
Most definitely. And what you're saying is 100% correct. I think it has a lot to do with our mindset, and having that kind of mindset and then passing that kind of mindset on is so important. I see just myself being an entrepreneur, how that impacts my nephews. They're creating their own logos and doing things like that. And I have to say, when you were wearing my shirt on TV, I was like, oh Lord, won't he do it? I said, I can't believe it. My mom texted me. I was like, I love her. I was like, I can't believe she did that for me. I'm like, oh my God. So it's just crazy, what you can do.
And how historic was that? Me being the first African American to lead the entire county of Kalamazoo to walk in, not just cry over what's happened to me, but what's happening with my brothers and sisters that are in business. I mean, the pride that you get from receiving those texts and this and that, that's what we have to demonstrate, particularly to our young people, that I didn't grow up seeing, Black women doing this and doing that. I didn't have, not that they didn't exist, I didn't have access, right? And that's our job in this coming decade, is that we have to be that leader. We have to show them. We still got to work with our other brothers and sisters and say, we got an opportunity here, y'all. We got to lead by example. We got to teach, and we got to really pass this down generationally. My kids, my daughter just turned 28 the other day. And she was like, Mom, my birthday and da-da-da. So first of all, I don't give grown folks money. But what I did tell her, she's the makeup artist. And she owns, she's doing her own business. She's successfully doing that as a makeup artist. I said, I will invest in your business. And I did. I invested several $100s in her business. But I was intentional about buying makeup from Black folks, find the products that you need from Black-owned businesses. Because that's how we sustain and be able to help and support one another. And she was like, oh, but Mom, I can just get it from Amazon quicker. No, that's not what we're doing. So you just got to lead by example. And mindset,
definitely.
exactly.
Well, I'm just curious. Congratulations on your new marriage, Congratulations.
Yeah, I love him, girl.
And you guys are beautiful together. Just beautiful. Just seeing your love story, seeing your pictures. I'm like, oh, look at God give her balance. And how do you achieve that balance? How do you achieve that balance? Or do you have balance? You look like you have balance.
Wow. We do. So let me tell you, my husband is retired from the military, from the Army. And so he's very structured. He's very timely. He's very, like we eat together, we do it at a certain time, and so that balance helps me because everything that he is where I have my greatest weaknesses at. So he helps to bring that in. My husband, when I say timely, last night we went to Grand Rapids to see Hamilton, which was, oh my God, so amazing. But my husband is like, be ready at 6 o'clock. If you ain't, I'm leaving you. And he's serious. He'll leave. So after experiencing that for the second time of him leaving me, now I'm tired. So he helps to bring that. When it comes to balance, because I'm so all over the place doing stuff for work, for the community, when I come home, he's like, okay, this is home. This is our sanctuary. This is where we have peace with each other. This is where you can come in and tell me what your day is like, and we can talk about this and that. But then it's time for the relationship. And so I appreciate that a lot about him. And then when I, get off into he's like, okay, bring it back. This is not what we're doing. And I would tell you this is a secret. My husband has a man cave, right? And he loves movies. I don't really get to watch TV that often. And he likes to watch movies. So every now and then he invites me into the man cave. But he's like, no cell phone, no tablet, no crying, no talking through the movie. I'm like, what I'm in here for? Right. And he was like, just be people. And so it helps you to really let go of a lot of that other outside stuff and just sit with yourself and sit with the people that you love. So I appreciate him so much. And oh my God, he's cool. He's really, really cool. He's retired. He takes his time seriously. So I'm like, okay.
That's so cute.
But Black love, I think, is so special.
It is.
And so beautiful. And I think that as much as we can, we have to show other people that we can have relationships and sustain them. That even though we have challenges and issues, we can overcome them. We can look good together and we can look bad together. Sometimes people need to see that you struggled and you made it over so that they know that they can do it too.
Right.
So definitely, and being Christ-centered is everything. Knowing that when you love God, you can love somebody else, and when things go bad, you can reflect back on that. That is tremendous, I think, in any type of relationship. So.
That's so awesome. So
shout out to Mr. Rod. And Brandy, we grew up in Kalamazoo, right around the corner from each other. We went to school together. I never knew him in school.
What?
Never met. I was on vacation in Dallas visiting my sister. He was there visiting his sister.
What?
We ran into each other at a restaurant.
Look at
and
God.
That's how we connected.
Look at God. Okay.
So
Just
it
look
was
at God.
God.
Wow. Well, I just want to say, I mean, I see you doing so much and helping so many people. How, to close it down, how can we help you? What do we need to do to help you to make sure you stay strong, you get the support you need?
Well, I think one, sharing the positive message that we do have leaders who are committed, and leaders, particularly like me, need that support. And the support comes in different ways. Praying for me, just saying, Lord, give her strength, hold her up. I think also showing up, at the county commission meeting, not often do, people of color come down. And so we meet every first and every third Tuesday of the month. When you can, come. If you can't come, go online. Watch our meetings online. Pay attention to the issues that are happening because they all directly impact you. Pay attention to the millions of dollars, your tax dollars, that local government is spending. And oftentimes they're spending it on everybody but us.
Right.
And part of that is because we're not speaking out enough to say, wait a minute, I need those dollars to come back in my neighborhood. I need those dollars, those contracts to go to minority businesses. I need those dollars to make sure that housing is for everyone and that it's affordable. I need those dollars to help make sure that people who are behind on their property taxes but are living in their homes are not foreclosed on. There's a lot of things that we can do that even if you can't come down, you can email, call, you can send a text message and just say, hey, I hear y'all, I see y'all dealing with this. This is what I care about too. And so, and being able to be registered to vote, come out on election day and vote. And vote for candidates, not just because they Black, because everybody that's our color and our kind, but because they truly are representing you and our issues. And then being able to tell other people, listen, the mindset, go vote, go support Black-owned businesses, support the people who are helping us in our community. And sometimes that's donating money, sometimes that's volunteering, sometimes that's just posting on your social media, a Black business or a local leader or something like that. But we got to stay connected and we got to stay tuned to what's going on because a lot of things are happening that's passing many of us by. And we need to be more aware and more active on the forefront instead of reacting after a bad decision has been made.
Right. Well, thank you so much. I definitely appreciate you spending this time with us. You have given us a wealth of knowledge. I'm so excited. And we look forward to seeing you at the State of the Black Union 2020 as one of our panelists. Everybody come out.
Absolutely. State of the Black Union.
Yes.
State of the Black Union, February 29th. In Three Rivers, this is where you need to be. This is where folks are going to get the knowledge, the resources, toolkits to go out in your respected community and do the work. And the most beautiful thing is being brought to you by our colorful roots. They need to support you, the organization, everything you have from optometry to eyeglasses to jewelry, and I forgot to put my earrings on, and to clothing. All of that. Support colorful roots, but more importantly, come out, State of the Black Union, be involved, and get some things that you can take back to do at your community. I so love colorful roots, and I'm thankful for you,
so
Brandy.
All right. Well, have a blessed one. Thank you so much again for your time. Bye-bye.
Absolutely. Be well.